Hey guys, today we're going to be teaching you how to simplify radicals with variables in them. So some of the basic things that we have to remember is that x squared square rooted equals x to the 4th power square rooted equals x squared, and x to the 6th power square rooted equals x cubed. Now those are really basic. You just take the exponent that is over the variable and divide it in 2, and that's your answer. Another thing to remember is that the square root of 8 equals 4 times 2 square rooted, and then you can simplify the 4 down to 2, so then you would just get the square root of 8 equals 2 times the square root of 2. Now let's get into the examples. The first example that we have is the square root of 75 times x cubed. We can simplify the 75 into 25 times 3 and the x into x squared times x. Now let's give each of them their own individual square root. Now we have the square root of 25 times the square root of 3 times the square root of x squared times the square root of x. Now let's simplify the terms that can be simplified some more. The square root of 25 will become 5, the square root of 3 will stay the same, and the square root of x squared will become x, and the square root of x will stay as the square root of x. Now let's combine our like terms. The 5 and the x can come together to become 5x, and the square root of 3 and the square root of x can combine to become the square root of 3 times x. Now let's combine both of those terms to get 5x times the square root of 3x. Now we have the second problem. The second problem is the square root of 64 times x to the 4th power. Let's give each of them their own individual root signs. So now we have the square root of 64 times the square root of x to the 4th power. The square root of 64 and the square root of x to the 4th power can be simplified. The 64 will become 8, and x to the 4th power will become x squared. Now we can combine them to become 8 times x squared. Now we have the last problem. It can look kind of hard, but it's pretty easy. So we have 3 times the square root of 40x to the power of 10 times y to the 6th power times z. Now let's give each of them their own individual root signs. So now we have 3 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 10 times the square root of x to the 10th power times the square root of y to the 6th power multiplied lastly by the square root of z. Now let's simplify some of our radicals. The 4 can become the 2, the square root of x to the 10th power can become x to the 5th power, and the square root of y to the 6th power can become y cubed. Now let's combine our like terms. 3 times the square root of 2 equals 6, the x to the 5th power stays the same, and the same thing goes for y cubed. Now we can also combine our radicals. The square root of 10 can combine with the square root of z to form the square root of 10 times z. Let's combine all of them now. 6 times x to the 5th power times y cubed times the square root of 10 times z.